Hello, my name is Isaina Nelson. I'm a second-year advertising major from West Palm Beach, Florida, and today we will be discussing the communication climate in the movie Princess and the Frog. So we will be analyzing two main characters, Princess Tiana and Prince Naveen, and kind of watch their relationship and communication climate change over time. In this presentation, we will be exploring what communication climate is, along with how disconfirming and confirming communication affects the climate of relationship, and then we'll end it off by analyzing what the characters could have did differently in creating a supportive communication climate within their relationship. So let's start off by what is communication climate. Communication climate is the overall feeling of the relationship. So this feeling is usually shared by both all participants in the relationship, and it's either a positive one or a negative one, or one that needs a lot of work. Let's start off by a little background on the Princess and the Frog. So Princess Tiana is a hardworking, very passionate waitress who is really interested in opening up her own restaurant, and Prince Naveen is a prince who has had everything handed to him and is just kind of going through life, with leisure. The reason that he even comes in paths with Princess Tiana is because he's actually looking for a princess who will be able to kind of supply him wealth because he's running out. So fast forward to the part where Princess Tiana is really passionate about opening up her restaurant, but everything is at odds for her. And Prince Naveen finds a way to actually turn himself into a frog with some shady business. He turned himself into a frog, and he's now looking for a princess to kiss in order for him to turn back into a human again. So he sees Princess Tiana standing there in the balcony, and he asks her, "Hey, would you be able to kiss me so I can turn into a human?" And she's very confused. As you can see in the picture, she's very confused and kind of like uncomfortable. There's a frog talking to her, one, and two, is asking her for a kiss. Before we move on, I wanted to say that communication climate is not random. It's something that develops over time, and it's based on your actions and languages, which either confirm or disconfirm that partner's messages, which really gauges the climate of the relationship. So what is disconfirming communication? Well, it is the lack of regard for another person's input or messages, basically kind of like not caring what they have to say. So Princess Tiana displays disconfirming traits towards Prince Naveen after they become frogs. They kind of go on this journey, and the whole time in the journey, Princess Tiana is kind of taking the lead on everything. Because Prince Naveen has a more fun, kind of playful character, Princess Tiana feels like she's the head of the relationship, and she kind of displays superiority in that sense. And with that came her interrupting a lot of Prince Naveen's responses and undermining him, which is one trait of disconfirming communication. And it was clear that Prince Naveen was very defensive about it, and you could really see that Prince Naveen was just over the journey but had to go on it anyways. And it was like that for both of them. They both felt like they were not where they were supposed to be. As you can see in the picture, Princess Tiana is kind of doing all the work, rowing, while and then another way that Princess Tiana shows disconfirming communication is by complaining a lot, and just being really just like negative, pointing out how lazy Prince Naveen is, and pointing out how he is privileged and hasn't had to work for anything. Now, complaining itself is not a disconfirming communication, but when it is done in a certain way, a disrespectful or demeaning way, that's when it becomes a negative aspect to a relationship. And that leads us to the parts of the movie where she did show confirming communication. So, confirming communication is acknowledging and kind of appreciating your partner rather than undermining them or putting them down. And the different ways of confirming communication is by recognition, acknowledgement, and endorsement. And these things kind of uplift the person, lets them know that they're important, lets them know that they're seen, and really creates a positive, supportive environment that is, not so defense based. So after spending a lot of time with each other, Princess Tiana and Prince Naveen really got a chance to see who they were at the core. And rather than being so negative to each other, you kind of see a shift in their climate and see that they are more willing to talk to each other and more willing to communicate on a human level rather than I'm the captain of the ship or I'm running this and you're just sitting here laying back. So Princess Tiana practices equality, which is one of Gibbs' supportive communication terms. And she does this by, in one of the scenes, they are hungry and they tried to eat flies, but it did not work. It was a fiasco. And instead, Princess Tiana, being the cook that she is, suggested making swamp gumbo. So you can kind of see Prince Naveen being kind of withdrawn as he doesn't know how to cook, and he also is kind of afraid to ask Tiana for help because the whole time she's been kind of defenseful and just negative, and Tiana kind of lets her guards down and practices equality by, in the picture you can see, showing him how to mince mushrooms. And while that's a slight and tiny thing, it was a big action in their relationship because it was so different before. Now Princess Tiana is more willing to help him and showing him that we're on an equal playing field, we're doing this together, and we have the same goal. You see Prince Naveen practice empathy, which is more of like that acknowledgement, like I see you, you see me type relationship, and finally understands why Princess Tiana acts the way that she does. And after Princess Tiana opens up and lets him know about her aspiration of making a restaurant or opening a restaurant, you see Prince Naveen kind of understand a little better and just realize that, hey, this is a person too and I should treat them that way. Also, for Princess Tiana, when she practices equality, she's showing a sign of endorsement, a sign of showing that that person is important, showing that Prince Naveen is important to her enough to teach him how to mince mushroom. On this slide, you'll see Gibbs' categories of defense-provoking and supportive behaviors, and we will kind of analyze what the characters could have done differently or did do positively. Princess Tiana practices control, and this is when she was not willing to be open to his ideas, undermined him, and genuinely interrupted him, acted like she didn't really care about his input. Instead of that, should have been problem oriented rather than undermining and not caring about their input and doing her own thing. She should have asked him, hey, what can we do to make this a working relationship to make sure that our goal is met? And you kind of see that change when she practiced equality and, taught him how to mince mushrooms. And then later on, you actually see Prince Naveen practicing empathy, which helped better the relationship, helped Prince Naveen understand Tiana better and understand why she acted the way she was, and in turn helped him fall in love with her. These are all things that really change a climate in a relationship. In conclusion, we have watched Princess Tiana and Prince Naveen's relationship climate or communication climate go from stormy, cloudy, crazy to one that's more positive and sunny. And we've learned what communication climate is. We've seen how disconfirming and confirming communication can affect a relationship's communication climate, and we've also analyzed what the characters could have done differently or what they have done and how they kind of changed that. using Gibbs' defense provoking and supportive behavior chart, and say thank you all for coming and watching in. Alrighty, have a great day.